of Ramzan. I had personally visited Al Rayyan and I was really pleasantly surprised, but at the same time I was very happy to see the facilities he has created there, which I think is purely through sheer hard work, dedication and commitment, which the entire Kerala and Keralites are known for throughout the world. And this is one quality which has given the state of Kerala an edge over the other states, and that is how they have achieved 100% literacy. And I am also very much grateful to my brother Dr. Samiullah Saab, who is also known as the father of paramedics, not only in India but in the world. His name should go to the Guinness Book of World Records, and I'm sure because he has never worked for any awards or for any name, but he has always worked for the welfare of the youth, community and society. And I remember Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam here, his words, what he has said during one of his speeches, that the future of this country is safe in the hands of the youth. And the youth are the future, and the people especially can be healthy only if we have institutions like this who are taking care of their health. A nation cannot be healthy if the people of that country is not healthy. So you, the paramedics, play a very major role, and as mentioned by Fazil Bhai, you contribute more than 60% to the well-being of a patient and to the human being. It is not only that when somebody falls sick, has to come to the hospital, but the importance of health today has become so prime that after we cross 40 years, or when we are touching 40 years, it is necessary for all of us to go through the health checkups, and even for a small injection, because today I am seeing that every single street has a small polyclinic, and there is a need to set up more polyclinics because corporate hospitals, are there, but for fever, for taking the injection, for checking up the blood pressure, for taking the blood samples, the urine samples, these polyclinics can really play a very important role, and also on advising the lifestyle of the human beings, because you are not just only a nurse or male nurse or a female nurse, but you are much more about that. And doctor's work is only in the operation theater or when he visits the patient, when he prescribes. But later on, your work starts, because you are the one who are in constant touch with the patient. And it is how you nurture the patient, it is how you pamper the patient, that you give not only the happiness, but you also help the patient in the speedy recovery. So it is the real work of humanity what the paramedics do. And the doctors are incomplete without the paramedic staff. You are all the support system for them. However big state of the hospital you construct or you build, and however state of the art equipment you keep in that, but it is not the doctors who operate that. It is you who operate that, and without your presence, it will simply become a monumental building. It is you people who put life in that building, and it is mainly because of today, especially you walk into any hospital, especially the ICCU, I've seen, because when my father was there in Apollo Hospital, and 90% of the paramedic staff is from Kerala there. So I developed very good rapport with the paramedic staff there, and I used to sit, and I found them more, some of them I found them more knowledgeable than the doctors, especially the ICCU staff. And in fact, because they are MD doctors, super specialist doctors, but especially when it comes to the paramedics, I've seen they are specially trained. So even I recommend and I suggest that under the able and the dynamic guidance of Dr. Samiullah, you should also have some super speciality within this paramedics, like we are having in other courses, which is, I'm sure, already there, and it is definitely a matter of great pride and privilege for us to have Mr. Shoaib, because Mr. Shoaib's main objective in life is not to make money, but his main objective in life is to serve the humanity. And through hospital, through medical service, he is doing the great service, the human service to the humanity in Saudi Arabia. And he has not only just completed 21 years of his hospital there in Jeddah, but he has also spread his wings to the other cities of Saudi Arabia. Doing business in India is, easy, but going over there, establishing oneself, and then making his own mark in the holy land of Saudi Arabia is not an easy task. Finding a small job is so tough, but you can imagine he's created thousands of jobs, especially for the youngsters. And I'm sure, and I look forward to Mr. Shoaib's association with this historic institution, because let me tell you, this is the first corporate hospital of Hyderabad which was set up way back in 1987. And the founder of the hospital and my father, they were great friends, and they were together in the parliament. And whichever dignitary visits Hyderabad, I always ensure that he visits Medwin, because in Hyderabad we have Charminar, then we have Salarjung Museum, we have Makkah Masjid, then we have Medwin to visit. And more importantly, because when we come to Medwin, we meet Dr. Samiullah Sahab. Dr. Samiullah Sahab himself is an iconic figure. And he is an icon for the youth. He has trained more than how many thousand? More than 18,000 youth. Can you imagine? I think these claps are nothing for his. So we have two great personalities today amongst us. One is Dr. Samiullah Sahab, then the other one is Mr. Shoaib. May I request Mr. Shoaib to kindly rise from the seat, and Samiullah Sahab, so that you all can give it a standing ovation. Thank you so much. It is really so heartening and heart-touching, I would say, because this type of standing ovation is possible only in an institution like this, where you are all taught the values of life, you are taught the importance of life, you are taught the ethics of life. And once again, I'm really grateful to Dr. Samiullah Sahab for having, within a very short span of time, given us an opportunity to bring Mr. Shoaib here. And Mr. Shoaib, I'm sure, because we have in fact still 25 minutes of time before we break for Friday prayers. And before that, I know 1:30, so that's the reason we still have plenty of time. But I would like to listen to the views and also the future plans, because when Mr. Shoaib has come here, because Mr. Shoaib is just not a single individual or a personality. I see an institution in Mr. Shoaib. Please be when I was in Jeddah, Dr. Saab called, in fact, my very dear friend Mr. Ejaz Ahmad Khan Saab, he said that because we would like to invite Khaleequr Rahman Saab to this hospital, and it was the month of Ramzan. So then I told him that because I am here, especially, just for about 5 days, so I would visit next time, because I don't want to actually, give them the inconvenience in this holy month of Ramadan, because everybody goes for Taraweehs and all. But Mahmood Ali Saab insisted that I should. And when I went there, I was really pleasantly surprised. And I feel that before that also I had visited Saudi Arabia, and I missed, the opportunity of visiting. I should have visited Al Rayyan, in fact, in my first visit only. But nevertheless, the time you rise is the time you see the world. So that is when I saw the real humanity working in action. So that is what Mr. Shoaib is all about. And then we have another community leader from Saudi Arabia, very young, smart man, because nobody actually believes that he's a social worker. Everybody thinks that he's a filmy hero because of his smart. Yeah, but because it is also important that Hyderabad also produces good human beings and also smart people, Yeah. And then we have with us Dr. Fazil Hussain Parvez Saab. I remember because the first interview of mine was taken by Fazil Bhai way back in 1990. 97? No. It was before that. 94. Yeah, it was in 1994. That is, and he has given a full page cover in Dynamite Deccan at that point of time. Because when Fazil Bhai asked me, then at that time I was still in my struggling days. But he has, I remember, because Azhar Bhai's, the first story was done by Fazil Bhai. Sania Mirza's first story was done by Fazil Bhai. So whoever Fazil Bhai touches, they turn into gold actually. So that is... except me, because I could not even turn into bronze, but the others, yeah. So that is what it is. Then we have Kabir Khan Sahab. I have got very high regard and respect for him. And then we have, the Shoaib is there, in fact, the emerging journalist. Yeah. The first interview of Mr. Shoaib is going to be taken by Fazil Bhai. And I'm sure he's already a gold, he'll become a diamond now. Yeah, Mr. Shahbaz has already taken his interview last night. Then we have Mr. Jilani, then we have Mr. Mustafa and all other people. And I welcome all the other members of his delegation from Kerala, and it is definitely an honor and a privilege for us, and we definitely look forward. We have one complaint, sir, with you. Actually, you came to Hyderabad, but you came only for not even 3 days. So that is the reason, because Hyderabad's heart is very big. So these 3 days, they can't really accommodate you anywhere, because we are still searching where you are in our heart actually, So that is the reason next time when you come, you should make it a point that, okay, you have seen the monuments, you have seen everything, but next time when you come with some agenda, especially because we want to learn so many things from you, especially from the Kerala community, and even our government is also very keen to work with the Kerala government, especially on the Norca, because we are planning to adopt that Norca model here. So that is the reason, because the government of Telangana is also very much keen for the welfare of the NRIs, and the first time in the history, because it was the NRIs who used to reach out to the government. But last week it was the first time in the history of Telangana that the Deputy Chief Minister himself reached out to the NRIs and hosted a dinner, and then listened to their problems, their issues and all. So this shows his commitment, this shows his sincerity, and likewise I am very much hopeful and optimistic that Mr. Shoaib's visit to Hyderabad will be a beginning of a new era of relationships between the state of Telangana and the Kerala and the NRI. Because NRIs have given a lot of their remittances, foreign remittances to this country, to this state. Because I remember when Mr. Chandrasekhar was the Prime Minister of our country, even the gold was kept in the mortgage. But it is it could become possible only because of the foreign remittances of the Middle East, because we don't get any remittance from USA or Canada, let me remind you, because rather they repatriate money from here, they don't send anything to this country. It is because we have 20 billion remittance from Middle East to India, and when it comes to balance of payments position, it is mainly because of the remittances from the Middle East, especially from Saudi Arabia, we are able to maintain that. So the government of India is also very much grateful to the entire diaspora, because they have constituted an award, and I'm sure that I'm going to recommend the name of Mr. Shoaib for the award which is given every year by the government of India in what is that? Pravas Bharatiya Divas. So I'm sure that next year his name will also figure. From our side it will be our endeavor, and also we will make every effort, and I'll also send your name from our party side also to the Prime Minister, because what happens is, it's my personal experience, even when we were in power, anything coming from within our party, we used to keep it this way. But when it was coming from the opposition, we used to give the first priority, because everybody wants to keep the opposition happy and in the good humor. So I'm sure that people think that when we are in opposition, we are weak, but in opposition we are more stronger than what we were when we were in power. So that is the reason. So never estimate anybody who is in opposition. Rather have. So that is the thing. Anything you have, please come to me with your representation, and inshallah ta'ala, that representation will have, the weight and successfully accepted. I once again would like to thank, on behalf of all of you, to my dear great friend, Dr. Samiullah Saab, and also to Mr. Shoaib, Mr. Mahmood Ali Saab, for coming over here and especially visiting this great institution, because it's not just only a hospital, it's an institution which houses so many things, and I'm sure that we'll take Mr. Shoaib on the round of this once we are done with this thing. Now I would request Mr. Shoaib to express his views and also his plans for the city of Hyderabad. Thank you so much once again. Jazakallah khair.